The day had started like any other for Rihan. The small-town mechanic had long accepted his fate, a greasy garage, borrowed tools, and just enough work to keep his sick mother fed and the lights on. His hands were always stained with oil, his dreams buried under layers of broken engines and unpaid bills. Yet even in this worn-out life, he still managed a tired smile when customers came in. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared him for the sight he saw that rainy Tuesday afternoon. It had been raining for hours. Thunder roared like a wounded beast, shaking the walls of his rickety little workshop on the outskirts of town. Most people stayed inside. The roads were empty. Rihan was cleaning up early, humming quietly to himself, when he heard a faint noise, so soft, it could have been the wind. Help! He turned, startled. Hello! He called out. Silence. Then again, this time weaker. Help! Rihan rushed toward the sound, weaving through metal shelves and hanging chains. Then he saw her. A girl, barely older than 20, lay slumped behind his stack of tires, drenched in blood and mud. Her clothes were torn, her arm bent unnaturally. Her lips moved, but no words came. Rihan froze. For a second, he couldn't move. What was she doing here? Who was she? Then instinct kicked in. He dropped to his knees, checked her breathing, shallow but steady. Hey, hey, don't close your eyes, he shouted, gently tapping her cheek. Her eyelids fluttered. There, coming. Who's coming? He asked, heart pounding. But she had passed out. Without thinking, Rihan picked her up and carried her to the back of the garage, where an old cot was kept. He laid her down, ran to grab his first aid kit, something he rarely used but always kept for emergencies. As he cleaned her wounds, his hands trembled. Deep gashes, bruised ribs, one ankle swollen badly. Someone had hurt her. Badly. He tried calling the police, but his phone had no signal. The storm had knocked down towers before. He checked again. Nothing. She needs a hospital, he whispered to himself. But how? His bike was broken. No car. And the nearest clinic was over an hour away. So he stayed. And he stitched what he could. He wrapped her ankle. He used old towels to warm her up. And then he waited. Hours passed. Night came. Lightning flashed outside. And then, she woke up. Her eyes opened slowly. Wide. Green. Terrified. Don't move, Rihan said gently. You're safe now. She tried to sit up and winced. Who are you? I should ask you that, he said. You were bleeding in my garage. You said someone was coming. Who? She looked around, her hands clutching the edge of the cot. Please, don't call anyone. Don't tell anyone I'm here. Rihan frowned. Miss, you're hurt. You need real help. She shook her head violently. No hospitals. No police. Please. If they find me, they'll kill me. Rihan felt a cold wave wash over him. Who will kill you? She looked him in the eyes. My father. The air in the garage had grown thick with secrets. Every creak of the tin roof, every gust of wind rattling the shutters, sent Rihan's heart racing. The girl, who now said her name was Alina, lay curled up on the cot, her face pale under the dim flickering bulb. Rihan sat across from her on an upside-down oil drum, arms crossed, heart pounding. He couldn't tell what shocked him more, the terror in her voice, or the revelation that her own father wanted her dead. Tell me everything, Rihan finally said, his voice steady but soft. I need to know what you're running from. Alina hesitated. Then she took a deep breath. And the words poured out like rain. Her father, Dad Khan, was no ordinary man. He was one of the most feared land tycoons in the region, a man whose smile could buy silence and whose orders could end lives. People didn't talk about Dad Khan, they whispered. His wealth came not from business but from bribes, threats, and blood. Alina had grown up in a golden cage, unaware of the dirt beneath her father's polished shoes, until she overheard a conversation 3 nights ago. I wasn't supposed to hear it, she whispered, eyes glassy. But I had trouble sleeping. I went downstairs, and I heard them, my father and 2 men. They were talking about a man who went missing. A local journalist. My father had ordered it. And the worst part, they were laughing about it. Rihan leaned forward. What did you do? I recorded it, she said. On my phone. I panicked. I ran to my room, packed a small bag. I was going to go to the press. But, they knew. Before I could even get out the gate, one of the guards tried to grab me. I fought back. I ran into the forest. I've been hiding ever since. Rihan was silent. The girl sitting before him wasn't just a victim, she was a threat to someone powerful. And now that someone would be looking for her. You still have the recording? He asked. Alina nodded weakly. It's on a micro SD card. Sewn inside my jacket lining. I thought if I kept it close, maybe. Her voice broke. Suddenly, Rihan stood. He paced, mind racing. If this was true, and every fiber of his gut told him it was, then he was harboring someone marked for death. Helping her might cost him everything. But how could he turn away? You'll stay here, he said firmly. No one comes by often. And no one would think to look for you here. I'll get food, supplies. We'll figure out the rest later. Alina looked at him, her lips trembling. Why are you helping me? Rihan paused. Because someone helped me once, too. When I was left for dead. He didn't say more. And she didn't ask. Days passed. The rain stopped, but the danger only grew. Rihan kept the garage closed, told anyone who came by that he was sick. He fed Alina with whatever he could scrounge from the small market, always careful, always watching. Each night, she grew a little stronger. Each morning, they talked a little more. Alina learned that Rihan had once dreamed of becoming an engineer, had aced his exams, but lost everything when his father died of a heart attack and his mother fell ill. With no money and no relatives, he dropped out of school and took over the broken-down garage just to survive. You gave up your future, Alina whispered one morning. I didn't give it up, he replied. It was taken, but I still fix things. Engines, lives, whatever I can. Their bond grew, unspoken, fragile, and yet powerful. For the first time, Alina felt safe. For the first time, Rihan felt seen. But peace is a fragile illusion. It happened on the fifth night. Rihan had just finished cleaning a carburetor when he heard a faint rumble outside. Headlights. A black SUV rolled slowly past the garage. Rihan ducked. Alina froze on the cot. The vehicle didn't stop, but Rihan's gut told him this was no coincidence. They're getting closer, he said. Alina pulled out the SD card from her jacket. It's time. Rihan shook his head. Not yet. We need a plan. Someone who can get this to the right people. I have a contact, she said. An NGO worker in Lahore. Name's Zara Ahmed. I don't know if she'll believe me, but she's helped girls before. If we can just get to her. Rihan nodded. Then we go tonight. They left at midnight. Rihan borrowed a scooter from a friend who owed him a favor. Alina wore a cap and mask. They rode through the back roads, avoiding lights, praying for shadows. Each kilometer felt like a heartbeat skipped. But they made it to the bus terminal, just barely. A bus to Lahore. 2 seats. Rihan paid with the last of his savings. As they boarded, Alina turned to him. You're not coming. He shook his head. They're watching the roads. If they see you with me, you'll never make it. But once you're safe, once you're with Zara, send someone back. Tell them about me. Tell them the truth. Tears welled in her eyes. She touched his hand. You saved my life. Rihan smiled. Then promise me you'll live it well. The bus pulled away. Rihan stood there, alone, watching the taillights vanish into the night. The days that followed were a blur. The police came. Anonymous tips. News reports. Khan under investigation. Alina's testimony had made headlines. Zara confirmed everything. The audio file shook the region. Protests erupted. The tycoon was arrested. And 1 week later, a black car returned, not with goons, but with gratitude. Zara stepped out, flanked by lawyers and reporters. She found Rihan cleaning a carburetor. You're the mechanic who fixed more than just engines, she said with a smile. 1 year had passed since that stormy night when Alina collapsed in Rihan's garage. 1 year since a poor mechanic with calloused hands and a tired soul defied a monster and chose to protect a stranger with nothing to offer but her pain. Rihan often thought about her, the girl with fire in her eyes and fear in her voice. She had disappeared into the world beyond his reach, into a city he couldn't imagine, surrounded by people who belonged to powerful places and clean offices. But Rihan stayed. He kept fixing broken cars, kept wiping oil from his fingers, kept scraping by in the same crumbling workshop. Life returned to its slow rhythm. Some nights were quieter than others. Some mornings, the weight of memory felt heavier than any engine part. And yet, something had changed inside him. He was no longer just Rihan, the poor mechanic. He was Rihan, the man who had risked everything to save someone. And that knowledge, that quiet dignity, made every cup of tea warmer, every breath deeper, every moment meaningful. Still, he hadn't heard from Alina. Not a call, not a message, not a letter. He told himself she was safe. That was enough. Until one morning. It was a clear day, blue skies, no hint of rain. Rihan was tightening bolts under an old Suzuki when he heard footsteps outside. Not just one pair, several. He wiped his hands on a rag and stepped outside. A sleek black car stood in front of his garage. Out stepped a woman, poised, radiant, and familiar. Alina. He froze. She smiled, eyes misting over. "You still smell like grease and engine oil," she whispered, voice trembling. Rihan dropped the rag. "You came back." She nodded slowly. "I had to." Behind her stepped out a man and a woman, clean-cut professionals in suits. A few others followed, carrying clipboards and camera equipment. Rihan blinked in confusion. "What's going on?" he asked. Alina walked forward, stopping just inches from him. "I made you a promise. That if I survived, I'd tell the world about the man who saved me." She turned to the group. "Everyone, meet Rihan, my hero. The reason I'm alive." The woman beside her stepped forward. "Mr. Rihan, I'm from the Dawn Foundation. We help protect whistleblowers and victims of abuse. Thanks to Alina, and your bravery, we've launched a new initiative, a shelter, legal aid, and rehabilitation program, named in your honor." Rihan stared, speechless. "In this garage," Alina said softly, "we want to expand it. Build a proper workshop. Train boys and girls who've been forgotten, orphans, runaways, the lost ones. You'll be the head. You'll teach them not just how to fix cars, but how to believe again." Tears welled in Rihan's eyes. He tried to speak but couldn't. Alina stepped closer. "You thought I forgot you. But I never stopped thinking about you. You didn't just save my life, Rihan. You gave me the courage to fight. I testified. My father's in prison. The world knows the truth. And now, I'm here to thank the one person who never asked for anything in return." For a moment, silence wrapped around them like a blanket. Then Alina whispered, "But there's something else I came to do." Rihan looked up. She pulled something from her bag, a small black box. Inside was a worn-out chain. The one he had given her for luck the night she escaped. "I kept it," she said. "Now I want you to have it back. Or, maybe wear it together. If you still want me in your life." He looked at her, unsure. She stepped forward and took his hand. "I don't want to live in a golden mansion, Rihan. I want to live where kindness still exists. Where the world may be small, but hearts are big. I want to live where you are." And just like that, in a dusty garage on the edge of nowhere, two souls who had once been strangers found something far more valuable than wealth, fame, or even safety. They found home.